Well, the Fed has been inflating for, decades, but particularly ever since Alan Greenspan showed up, he really wrote the playbook that his predecessors have been following. But, we just kind of moved from bubble to bubble, and we're afraid of allowing market forces to restructure the economy in the way that it needs to be restructured because, the process would involve some pain because asset prices would fall, loans would default, investors would lose money, workers would lose jobs. But a lot of this would be temporary because the workers who would lose jobs, they would lose the wrong jobs so they can get the right jobs. Because right now, government, monetary policy is keeping resources misallocated, which includes labor. And so you're seeing that now because there's a shortage of pretty much everything. And that's because we're not focusing our resources, including labor, on producing the things that we actually consume. Because of the Fed, so much of the investment is going into, things that we don't really need. It's a bunch of nonsense. A lot of the companies that are getting financing are not actually producing goods and services that we need now. They're just kind of harebrained schemes about what might happen in the future. But since money is so cheap, a lot of these malinvestments are being made. And that would include everything that's going on with cryptocurrencies. We've got, over 12,000 cryptocurrencies. There's new cryptocurrencies being created every day. There's a lot of real resources, energy, manpower being used to basically conjure these things into existence. But in the meantime, all of those resources and energy could have been used making actual things. But we're not doing that. We're not, planting new farm acreage. We're not, opening up new mines and producing the resources that the world actually needs. We're just creating these cryptocurrencies that nobody needs. But a lot of people want them because they think if they just buy them, they're going to get rich and they'll be able to buy all the products that nobody's making. And so meanwhile, the stuff that we're not making is scarcer and scarcer, and we have more and more money to buy it. And so the prices are just going to be going ballistic. And, we're seeing just a cusp of that right now. And the initial reaction is just to dismiss it. It's transitory, it's temporary, but oftentimes when you're on the cusp of a major change, very few people are going to recognize that that's actually what's happening. So they're going to try to rationalize it away. For years and years, the Federal Reserve was telling us the problem was there wasn't enough inflation, that their policy goal was actually to create inflation because we were suffering from a lack of inflation, which was all nonsense, the whole time. It was a way that they justified their excessively loose monetary policy, which they were pursuing to keep asset bubbles inflated. And so the U.S. government could keep spending money it didn't have without having to raise taxes. So the Fed was able to supply the money by monetizing the debt. But now those chickens are coming home to roost, again, in a way that very few people really understand. The cryptocurrency market is one of the manifestations of that inflation. Okay. It's one of the bubbles that has been inflated by the Fed. Now, certainly in some communities, like where I live in Puerto Rico, I would say that a lot of the crypto money is helping to fuel real estate prices here, as a lot of crypto people are kind of moving here. But what one person is able to spend is simply what somebody else can't, because all the Bitcoins or all the cryptocurrencies are just a transfer, right? Because the only way you can buy something with your crypto is if you sell your crypto, but that can only happen if somebody else buys it. So somebody who's buying a house in my neighborhood and selling their cryptocurrency, it's because some other fool bought cryptocurrency and gave them that purchasing power. But now that other person who bought cryptocurrency can't buy something else. Although what is happening now is because of all this cheap money that's sloshing around, there are people who are actually holding their cryptocurrency and spending them too because they're able to borrow money against that cryptocurrency. So to the extent that the crypto community could create money through debt, which is a byproduct of what the Fed is doing, then it is acting to help fuel the inflation, because now two people are spending the same crypto, because it's just people are borrowing against it. But more than it's creating inflation, I think the way the crypto industry is magnifying the inflation problem, because inflation is about creating too much money. And so when you print more money and you have a certain, a given supply of goods and services, you have more money chasing those goods and services. I think the way the cryptocurrency industry is making that worse is by diverting a lot of our scarce resources away from a productive use to the creation of cryptocurrencies. And so in that respect, we're creating all this money to buy products, but then instead of creating the products, we're creating cryptocurrencies. And so we have too many cryptocurrencies, but we don't have enough stuff, real things that people need and people want. Again, nobody wants Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency. They simply want what they think they can buy in the future when they sell their cryptocurrency. But the problem is, if we're not making those things, if everybody is just making cryptocurrencies instead of actual things, well, then there's nothing to buy. So all you have with cryptocurrency is a delusion. You have a bunch of, wealth on paper, but you can't actually convert it to real things, because if enough people tried to get out, there'd be nothing there, because the price would implode. The real use case for any cryptocurrency is as a token for gambling, right? People buy a cryptocurrency because they think the price is going to go up. I mean, that's really what's driving the whole thing. And, because they're buying it because they think the price is going to go up, they don't want to spend it. They don't want to use it, because otherwise they wouldn't have bought it, unless the only thing you have is cryptocurrency. Most people, they have cryptocurrency, and then they have fiat currency. They have a job. They get paid in wages in whatever currency they're earning. They use that to buy things. And if there's something left over, they may buy more crypto, because they think the price is going to keep going up. But yeah, you could always have a few people that potentially could use it as a medium of exchange. But if enough people tried to do that, I don't think it would work, because then the price would collapse, and the volatility would also make it impossible to really use it as a unit of account or as a medium of exchange. So it just would work. But yes, if enough people are just holding on to it and never selling it, a few people can transact in it.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information, and it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar, and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.